My name is Anna, and this is not just a story, it is the heartbeat of my life. A story of two girls who found each other when the world was too big, too cruel, and too complicated. A story of me and Lily. I still remember the first day I saw Lily. I was just a little girl, maybe 7 or 8, sitting alone in the school playground. The sun was shining too bright, but inside me there was darkness. I was the kind of child who always struggled to make friends. I felt invisible, like my voice did not matter, like no one cared whether I was there or not. That day, while I sat on the edge of the playground, watching other children laugh and play, I saw her. A little girl with curly hair holding a red notebook to her chest, walking with a shy smile on her face. She looked around, almost the same way I used to. Quiet, cautious, afraid to disturb the joy of others. She came closer to me, and without saying anything, she sat beside me. At first, I didn't know what to say. But then she looked at me and whispered, "Hi, my name is Lily." That was the moment my world changed. It was such a simple word, but for me, it felt like the first drop of rain on dry land. I smiled back and said, "I'm Anna." And from that moment, something magical began. Two lonely souls found each other, and our bond started to grow like a little seed that would one day become a giant tree. In the beginning, our friendship was made of small moments, sharing crayons in the classroom, eating lunch together, protecting each other from bullies. Lily was brave in ways I could never be. Whenever someone tried to make fun of me, she would stand tall and say, "Leave her alone, she is my friend." Those words. She's my friend. I had never heard them before. And each time she said them, it was like a shield protecting me from the cruel world. As years passed, our bond grew deeper. We studied together, played together, and dreamed together. At night, we would sit on the rooftop of my house, watching the stars, making wishes. She always believed that one day we would do something great with our lives. "Anna," she would say, "no matter where life takes us, we'll always be together. Promise me." And I would hold her hand tightly and whisper back, "Promise." But life has its own way of testing promises. When we reached high school, everything started to change. People around us became different. Some new faces tried to come between us. I remember one girl once told Lily, "Why do you always stay with Anna? You could be more popular without her." When I heard that, my heart broke. I was so scared that Lily would leave me, that she would realize I was nothing compared to the shining, confident people around her. But Lily, she turned to that girl, looked straight into her eyes and said, "Anna is not just my friend. She is my sister, and no one can ever take her place." That day, I cried. I cried because I knew that real friendship is not about convenience. It is about loyalty, about standing together even when the world tries to pull you apart. Our friendship was not perfect. We fought sometimes. I remember one evening when I got angry because Lily forgot our study session. I shouted at her and she walked away with tears in her eyes. That night, I could not sleep. I realized that hurting her was like hurting myself. The next morning, I ran to her house, knocked on her door, and when she opened it, I hugged her tightly and said, "I'm sorry. I don't want to lose you." She hugged me back, whispering, "You never will." We grew together, from children to teenagers. We shared secrets no one else knew. She was the first person I told when I liked someone. She was the first person who saw me cry when my parents fought. She was the first person who made me laugh when everything felt broken. And I was the same for her. She trusted me with her dreams, her fears, her heart. Sometimes late at night, she would call me and say, "Anna, are you awake?" And I would smile and reply, "I'm always awake for you." But the truth is, I didn't know that life was preparing a storm. Because friendship, no matter how strong, always faces trials. And the test that was waiting for us was something neither of us could have imagined. Lily and I had always believed that nothing could ever come between us. But when college began, the world suddenly felt bigger, scarier, and more complicated than before. We were no longer the two little girls on a playground. We were young women standing at the doorway of adulthood. At first, everything was still beautiful. We applied to the same college and even ended up in the same class. Every morning we walked together, laughing, sharing secrets, making plans for the future. I thought, see, nothing has changed. We are still the same Anna and Lily. But slowly, things started shifting. There was this group of students, the kind who were loud, confident, and always surrounded by attention. They noticed Lily. Of course they did. She was beautiful with her curly hair and kind smile. Everyone wanted to be near her. Suddenly, she was invited to parties, asked to join clubs, and admired by people I didn't even know. And me? I was still Anna, the quiet, invisible girl who preferred books over crowds. I tried to be happy for her. I told myself, this is good. She deserves happiness. She deserves friends. But deep inside, I was terrified. I was scared that she would forget me, that I would become just a memory in her busy, shining life. One night, Lily came to me and said, "Anna, there's a party this weekend. Please come with me." I shook my head. I hated parties, the noise, the fake laughter, the way people pretended to be happy. She looked disappointed but didn't force me. She went alone. That night, I sat by my window, staring at the stars, wondering what she was doing, who she was laughing with, if she even thought of me in that moment. When she returned, she told me about the people she met, the fun she had, the music, the dancing. I smiled, but inside, I felt like a shadow, slowly fading from her world. And then came the day I feared the most. There was a boy. His name was Daniel. He was charming, kind, the kind of person everyone liked. He started spending time with Lily. I could see the spark in her eyes whenever she talked about him. At first, I tried to ignore it. I told myself it was just friendship. But soon I realized she was falling in love. And in that moment, I felt something I never thought I would feel toward Lily: jealousy. Not because I didn't want her to be happy, but because I was afraid of losing her. I was afraid that Daniel would take my place, that the promises we made under the stars would vanish. One evening, she sat beside me and whispered, "Anna, I think I love him." My heart broke. I forced a smile and said, "That's wonderful, Lily. I'm happy for you." But inside I was screaming, "No, don't leave me. Don't forget me." From that day, everything changed. She spent more time with him. Her phone calls at night became less frequent. Our study sessions were often canceled. Even when we sat together, her mind seemed far away, lost in thoughts of Daniel. And I was left behind. One night, unable to hold it in any longer, I asked her, "Lily, do you even need me anymore?" She looked at me with shock in her eyes. "Anna, how can you say that? You are my best friend. Nothing will ever change that." But I couldn't stop my tears. "It already has changed. You don't talk to me like before. You don't laugh with me like before. You don't even see me like before." She grabbed my hand, holding it tightly. "Anna, please don't think like that. Yes, I love Daniel, but you are my sister. Nothing and no one can ever replace you." Her words gave me comfort, but deep inside I knew things would never be the same again. Weeks turned into months. Lily and Daniel's relationship grew stronger, and I drifted further into the background. But then, one night, everything changed. Lily called me, her voice shaking. "Anna, can I come over? Please?" When she arrived, her eyes were red from crying. She collapsed into my arms and whispered, "Daniel, he hurt me. He betrayed me." I held her tightly as she sobbed, my heart breaking with hers. In that moment, I realized something. No matter what happened, no matter how far apart we drifted, no matter how many storms life threw at us, I would always be her safe place. Because that's what true friendship is. It's not about being together every moment. It's about being there when it matters the most. That night, she fell asleep in my arms, and I promised myself silently, I will never let her go. I will never let her face pain alone. Even if the world takes her away from me, I will always wait for her. Lily had always been the strong one between us. She was the one who laughed louder, who dreamed bigger, who loved harder. But now she was broken. After Daniel betrayed her, she was no longer the same Lily. Her laughter disappeared. Her eyes that once sparkled like sunshine now carried storms. She sat quietly most days, lost in thoughts I couldn't reach. I tried everything to bring her back. The silly jokes we used to laugh at, the long walks, the music we sang together. But nothing worked. One night, as we sat together in silence, she whispered, "Anna, am I not enough? Why did he leave me? What did I do wrong? My chest tightened. I grabbed her hand and said firmly, Lily, listen to me. You are more than enough. You are the kindest, purest soul I know. If he couldn't see that, then he never deserved you. Tears rolled down her cheeks as she leaned on my shoulder. But it hurts, Anna. It hurts so much. I wrapped my arms around her. Then let me carry the pain with you. You don't have to face it alone. And for hours, she cried in my arms. Days turned into weeks. Slowly, Lily began to heal. But just when I thought the worst was over, fate struck again. Lily fainted one morning on her way to class. At first, we thought it was stress, maybe exhaustion. But after several tests, the doctor called us in with a heavy face. Lily has a heart condition, he said. It's rare and dangerous. The world around me collapsed. My best friend, my sister, the girl who was my everything. Her life was suddenly under threat. Lily, on the other hand, tried to smile. Don't look so scared, Anna. I'll be fine. But I could see the fear in her eyes. From that day, every moment became precious. I stayed with her through hospital visits, through sleepless nights, through medicines that made her weak. I held her hand when the pain was unbearable. I read to her when she couldn't sleep. I prayed for her every single night. Sometimes she would look at me and whisper, "Why are you doing all this for me, Anna? Don't you ever get tired?" I would smile and answer, "Because you did the same for me once. Because friendship means never leaving, no matter how hard the road gets." But life is cruel. Her condition worsened. The doctor said surgery was the only hope, but it was risky, very risky. I remember the night before her surgery. She called me to her room, sat me down, and held my hands tightly. "Anna, if anything happens to me tomorrow, promise me something." I shook my head, tears already streaming. "Don't say that, Lily. You'll be fine. You have to be fine." She smiled softly. "Promise me, Anna. Promise me you'll live your life fully. Promise me you won't lock yourself in my memories. You deserve happiness, even if I'm not there." I broke down, shaking my head. "No, don't talk like that. I can't imagine a world without you." Her voice trembled, but her eyes were steady. "Promise me, Anna." And with a shattered heart, I whispered, "I promise." The next morning, as they wheeled her into surgery, she looked back at me one last time and mouthed, "I love you, Anna." I pressed my hand against the glass and whispered back, "I love you more." Hours felt like years as I waited. Every second was torture. Every sound of the clock like a knife in my chest. Finally, the doctor came out. His face told me everything before he even spoke. Lily didn't make it. My world ended that day. I fell to the ground, screaming, begging God to bring her back. My heart felt ripped apart. The girl who was my home, my family, my everything, was gone. At her funeral, I stood by her coffin, staring at her peaceful face. She looked like she was sleeping, like any moment she would open her eyes and laugh at me for crying. But she didn't, and she never would again. No, every night I sit by the window where we once dreamed together. I look at the stars and whisper, "I kept my promise, Lily. I'm still living, but without you." Every breath feels heavy. Sometimes when the wind is quiet, I feel her beside me. I hear her laughter in the rustling leaves. I see her smile in the stars. And I know, even though she is gone, our bond is unbreakable. Because true friendship doesn't die. It lives on in the heart, forever. The day Lily left this world, I felt like half of me died with her. Everything around me looked the same. The trees still swayed in the wind. The sun still rose in the morning. People still laughed, still lived. But for me, the world had turned gray. I used to wake up with her messages, her silly voice notes, her random selfies. Now, my phone lay silent. No vibration, no laughter, no "Anna, wake up" text. Just silence. At first, I couldn't even step into our favorite places. The cafe where we shared secrets, the park where we sat under the stars, the library corner where she always fell asleep on books. It all felt haunted. Every memory screamed her name. Weeks passed. People told me, "Time heals everything, Anna." But they were wrong. Time didn't heal. It only reminded me of how long it had been since I heard her voice. Sometimes I would dial her number, knowing it wouldn't connect. Just to hear, "The number you are trying to reach is not available." That robotic voice cut through me like a knife. Her clothes still hung in her closet. Her perfume still lingered in the air. I couldn't bring myself to touch anything. It felt like moving them would erase her existence. One evening, I sat with her diary, pages filled with dreams, quotes, and doodles. On one page, she had written, "One day, Anna and I will travel the world together. We'll eat in little cafes, laugh in strange cities, and watch sunsets in places no one knows." I broke down, because that one day would never come. But then, her last words came back to me. "Promise me you'll live your life fully, Anna. Promise me you won't lock yourself in my memories." I had promised, and promises were sacred between us. So I tried. I started with small steps. I forced myself to go out, to study, to talk to people again. But nothing felt the same. Without her, every smile was half empty. Months later, I decided to fulfill one of her dreams: travel. I took her diary, packed my bag, and set off to places we had once imagined. In Paris, I stood under the Eiffel Tower and whispered, "We made it, Lily." In Rome, I ate pasta and laughed alone, pretending she was sitting across the table. In Greece, As the sunset painted the sky, I closed my eyes and felt her presence beside me. Everywhere I went, I carried her with me. But nights were the hardest. Lying in bed, staring at the ceiling, memories played like films. Her laughter, her tears, her voice calling my name. And then the silence that followed. Many times I asked God, why her? Why not me? She deserved life more than anyone. No answer ever came, just the hollow sound of my own sobs. Years passed, I graduated, got a job, met new people, but no one ever replaced her. They couldn't. Because Lily wasn't just my best friend. She was my safe place, my family, my soulmate in the form of a friend. Sometimes people asked, why don't you move on? Why do you still hold on to her? And I would simply smile and say, because love doesn't end with death. It stays forever. On her birthday every year, I still bake her favorite cake. I sit by her grave and talk to her as if she's listening. I tell her about my failures, my little victories, my secrets. Because some part of me believes she's still here, watching, listening, loving. Now, as I sit by the same window where we once dreamed together, I realize something. Lily may not be here physically, but she lives in me, in my heart, in my breath, in my very soul. Our bond wasn't broken by time, distance, or even death. It was unbreakable, eternal, and as long as I live, I will carry her with me, always. When people say time heals wounds, they don't tell you the full truth. Time doesn't heal. It teaches you how to carry the wound, how to live with the ache, how to smile while your heart is still bleeding. That's what I learned after losing Lily. It has been years now. And yet every morning when I wake up, I still feel like I should hear her voice. That playful, silly, "Anna, wake up, you lazy girl." But all I hear is silence. Silence has become my new companion. At first, I hated silence. It felt heavy, suffocating. But slowly, I learned to sit with it, to let it wrap around me. Because in that silence, I could almost hear her laugh, almost feel her presence, almost believe she never left. But life doesn't stop. And Lily had made me promise not to stop either. So I kept moving. I finished my studies, though without her cheering me on, every achievement felt incomplete. I wore the graduation gown, held my certificate, and in the crowd of claps, my ears only searched for one sound. Hers. She wasn't there, but deep inside I whispered, "We did it, Lily. This was ours." After that, I got a job. It was not easy at first, facing new people, smiling, pretending like everything was fine. It drained me. Some days I came home and cried into my pillow until sleep finally came. But then I remembered her words. "Anna, one day you'll shine so bright, and I'll be the proudest friend ever." So I worked harder, not just for me, for her. Years rolled on, seasons changed, people came and left, but no one could ever take Lily's place. Some tried to get close, some even asked why I still held on to someone who was gone. Gone? How could they call her gone when I felt her in every breath? Lily wasn't gone. She lived inside me. And that bond, death could never erase. Evening, as I walked home, I saw a girl sitting alone on the street corner crying. She reminded me of myself, the younger Anna who once lost everything. I sat beside her and asked what was wrong. She whispered, "I lost my best friend." My heart sank. I held her hand, and for the first time, I told someone the whole story of Lily. From the day we met to the day I lost her, to every promise, every tear. By the end, the girl wasn't crying anymore. She was smiling faintly. "You made me believe my friend is still with me," she said. And at that moment, I realized something. Lily's love was not meant to stay locked in my heart. It was meant to spread, to heal others. That's how it began. I started volunteering, helping people who lost someone they loved. I sat with them, listened to them, held their hands, and told them they weren't alone. I told them about Lily. Her story became my strength, and my strength became their hope. On Lily's birthday, instead of crying, I started a tradition. I would gather children from the orphanage, bake her favorite cake, and celebrate with them. Their laughter filled the emptiness she left behind. Their smiles reminded me of hers. Every year, I whispered at her grave, "See, Lily, we're still celebrating together. Only now, we have more people at our party." Life kept testing me. There were days of loneliness, nights of breaking down, moments of weakness. But every time, I held on to her words. "Promise me you'll live, Anna." And so, I lived. Not perfectly, not without pain, but fully. Now, as I sit here, writing this with tears in my eyes, I realize Lily gave me the greatest gift. She taught me what unconditional love truly means. She showed me that bonds aren't broken by distance or even death. They live on, in memories, in actions, in the way we carry the love forward. So yes, Lily is not here beside me, but she's everywhere around me. In the laughter of children, in the kindness of strangers, in the strength I never knew I had. And when my time comes, I know she'll be waiting, smiling, just like the first day we met. Until then, I'll keep living. For her, with her, always. Because our bond is unbreakable, eternal. I never thought I would grow this old. And yet here I am, wrinkles on my hands, silver in my hair, and stories in my heart. Life has been kind to me in many ways. I have children, even grandchildren now. They run around the house, filling it with laughter, And sometimes I look at them and smile because in their innocence I see a reflection of Lily. But as the house gets quiet in the evenings, when everyone is asleep and I sit alone by the window, it's not the sound of laughter I long for. It's hers, Lily's. Even after all these years, the emptiness she left has never fully healed. It never will. People often tell me, "Anna, you've lived a long, beautiful life. You should be at peace." And yes, I am grateful. I truly am. But peace is not something I have completely found, because a part of me is still waiting for that moment when I can see her again. I still remember the way her hand felt when it held mine. Warm, firm, like nothing in the world could separate us. But life proved me wrong. Or maybe it just postponed our meeting. Every night before I close my eyes, I whisper the same words. Good night, Lily. I'll see you soon. As I grew older, I began writing letters to her. Letters I knew she would never read here, but maybe, just maybe, she would receive them somewhere beyond. I kept them all in a wooden box. In those letters, I told her about my children, about the moments of joy and sorrow, about how much I missed her during every milestone of my life. On my wedding day, I wrote, "You should have been standing next to me, teasing me, fixing my hair, reminding me not to cry. But I cried anyway, Lily, because you weren't there." When my daughter was born, I wrote, "I named her Grace. She has your smile, Lily. When she laughs, it's like hearing you again. I wish you could hold her." And on my son's first day of school, I wrote, "I told him about you. I told him how strong and kind you were, and how every true friendship should be like ours. Pure, loyal, unbreakable." Sometimes my children ask, "Mom, why do you talk so much about this one friend?" And I smile through tears and tell them, because she was not just my friend, she was my soul's other half. The sister life gave me. Now my body grows weaker every day. I can feel it. The doctors call it age. I call it the gentle knocking of time. But I am not afraid, because I know what's waiting on the other side. I imagine it often. The day my eyes finally close here and open there. I imagine a beautiful garden filled with light, and in the middle of it, I see her, Lily. She's standing, smiling, waving at me the way she always did when we met after long school days. Only this time, it won't be a short meeting. It will be forever. I don't know if heaven looks the way people describe, but for me, heaven is simple. Heaven is wherever Lily is. Until then, I live each day with patience. I hold my grandchildren close. I tell them stories, many of them about Lily. Sometimes they laugh, sometimes they cry. But I want them to know who she was. I want them to understand that love and friendship are treasures more valuable than anything else. Because when everything else fades, money, success, possessions, it is love that stays. And Lily's love, has stayed with me all my life. So as I sit here, perhaps writing my last words, I want to leave behind this truth. Friendship is eternal. If you're lucky enough to find someone who sees your soul, who holds your hand through storms, who makes you laugh until you cry, never let them go. Even if life takes them away, carry them in your heart, because that's where they live, forever. And to you, Lily, if you can hear me, if you are waiting just beyond the veil, know this. I have missed you every single day. I have loved you every single moment. And soon, very soon, I will finally be home. Wait for me at the gates, my dearest friend, because the first thing I will do is run into your arms. And this time, nothing will ever take you away from me again. Until then, I'll whisper once more. Good night, Lily. I'll see you soon. I never thought this day would come so soon. I knew my mother was growing older, weaker with time, but to me, she always felt eternal. She was my anchor, my safe place, my greatest source of strength. But last night, my mother, Anna, left us. The house feels so quiet now. Too quiet. Her laughter, her soft humming while cooking, the sound of her stories, all of it feels like an echo that is slowly fading. After the funeral, when everyone had left, I walked into her room. The curtains were half open, letting in the golden rays of sunset just the way she liked. On the small table beside her bed, I found a wooden box. A box I had seen countless times but never dared to open. This time I opened it. Inside were dozens of letters. Some old, their ink faded with time. Others newer, still smelling faintly of my mother's perfume. Each one addressed to the same name, Lily. As I picked up the first letter, my hands trembled. Dear Lily, it began. I started to read, and soon I was lost in a world that wasn't mine, but hers. In those letters, she poured out her soul. She wrote about her joys, her sorrows, her victories, and her fears. But more than anything, she wrote about love. The kind of love that doesn't fade with time. The kind of friendship that even death cannot break. Tears blurred my vision as I realized just how much Lily had meant to my mother. She wasn't just a childhood friend. She was her everything. Her soulmate in the purest sense. I called my brother Michael, and together we sat on the floor surrounded by the letters. He picked one up and began reading aloud. It was the letter my mother had written on my wedding day. You should have been here, Lily, she wrote. Standing beside me, holding my hand, laughing at my nervousness. But you weren't, and the emptiness was unbearable. I smiled for everyone, but inside, I cried for you. Michael stopped reading and looked at me. His eyes were filled with tears. We never knew. We never truly understood. The more we read, the more we realize that our mother had lived her entire life carrying Lily in her heart. Every milestone, every joy, every sorrow, Lily was there, even if only in spirit. It was as though Lily had never really left. Among the letters, we found one envelope marked, "For my children, when I am gone." My hands shook as I opened it. Inside was a single letter written in my mother's careful handwriting. "My dearest children, if you are reading this, it means I am no longer with you in this world. But don't cry for me. I lived a full life, a beautiful life. And the reason it was beautiful was because of love. I want you to know about Lily. She was not just my friend. She was my heart's twin, my strength, my safe place. I carried her with me through every moment of my life. You may wonder why I spoke of her so often. It's because love that pure should never be forgotten. I wanted you to grow up knowing that friendship, true friendship, is a treasure more valuable than gold. Take care of each other the way Lily took care of me. Be loyal, be kind, be forgiving. And when life gets hard, remember that love is the only thing that lasts forever. And when my time comes to meet Lily again, do not be sad. Because somewhere beyond this world, we will laugh together once more. With all my love, Mom. By the time I finished reading, both Michael and I were crying uncontrollably. It felt like her voice was in the room with us, soft and gentle, guiding us even after she was gone. We realized then that our mother's greatest legacy wasn't just us, her children. It was the love she carried in her heart. A love so strong, so pure, that even death could not silence it. That night, I placed all the letters back in the wooden box, but I kept one with me, the last letter, because I want to carry her words wherever I go. And I promised myself something. I will tell my children and their children about Lily. I will tell them how two little girls once found each other, became inseparable, and built a bond so powerful that it lasted beyond a lifetime. Now, when I look at the stars, I think of them. I imagine my mother and Lily together, laughing, holding hands, walking under a sky that never turns dark. And I smile through tears because I know they are finally together again. Forever.